In the last lesson, we parsed the JSON data returned by the YouTube API into video instances that we're displaying in our feed view. If you missed that lesson, check out the playlist right over there. Now the problem is we don't have any video thumbnails to show, and we're going to fix that in this lesson. Let's do it. So here's what we have so far with our feed view. Let's clean this up a bit. So we're going to go into feed view, and the first thing I'm going to do is change the style of the list style to plain. And then we're also going to remove the scroll indicator. So let's do that, scroll indicators. I'm gonna hide that. And it should already look a little better. Perfect. And then we are going to remove these separators between each item because these are going to be images, right? Thumbnails. So in the text here, I'm going to say row separator visibility is hidden. And the other thing is, remember how we have a tab view in the home view? So let's add that tab icon right there. So in home view, we can remove this on up here, display our API key, and add a tab item. And in here, we are going to put an image, and this is going to be an SF icon, SF symbol, sorry. And we are going to use stack, this one, play square stack. Let's just see if I can put it right there. Oh, it just did the whole thing for me. And then the text is going to be feed. That already is going to look a lot better. I hope you're enjoying the lesson so far. Now, just in case you want to launch your own app, I want to tell you about CWC+. This step-by-step program will help you launch your own app even if you don't have any experience. And it takes about 4 months. If this sounds like something you're interested in, I have a special offer for you. I'll leave the link in the description below this video, and hopefully I'll see you there. If not, no worries. I really appreciate that you're here watching this lesson and learning with us. So thank you for that. Anyways, now back to the lesson. Now let's take a look at displaying those images using our video row view. So instead of displaying a text with the title, we are going to want to create instances of video row view. But we need to pass the video into the video row view, otherwise this view won't have anything to work with. So why don't we create a property here that will need to get passed in. And for this purpose, maybe we'll just do that. I don't want to create all of that. I'm just going to axe the preview itself. Okay. And let's go back to feed view, and we are going to pass it in here. See, now it requires that. I'm going to just pass in the video that it's trying to display. Now in the video row view, let's display the image. Now remember, we do have the URL to the thumbnail image. It is inside video.snippet.thumbnails.medium.url. This is a string. So we need to essentially hit this URL to download the image data and then display that image data inside a SwiftUI image. Luckily for us, SwiftUI makes this really easy using AsyncImage, where you just pass in a URL and it's going to do that asynchronously. It's going to send a background worker to go to that URL, fetch the image data, come back, and then display it inside an image. We're going to use this one because it gives us a reference to the SwiftUI image view, which allows us to add some additional modifiers to it. If we want to like tweak the corners, or we want to tweak the aspect ratio, we can do that. And placeholder allows you to specify what to show while that background worker is grabbing the image data. So we're going to show a spinner, and obviously URL is where the where should it go retrieve that. Now, because all of these are optional, we may not have an image URL. So we have to check for that first. So we're going to say if let URL equals, and we're going to try to create a URL instance off of that string. Okay, and if it is able to create this, then we are going to pass this into the AsyncImage call, or sorry, view as a parameter. That's where we're going to pass that. Okay, so what is the string again? Well, it is video.snippet.thumbnails.medium.url. And if it doesn't exist, then it doesn't exist. Then we can't show an image. So what do we have to do here to provide optional? Provide default when the optional contains nil. Oh, okay, because it must be a string. So yes, if any of this part isn't a URL, if it cannot create this string, then we're just going to put an empty string and try to create a URL, and it's going to fail, and it's going to not do any of this stuff in here. Okay, so now let's set our async image. We're going to use this one right here, as I said, and we're going to pass in the URL that was created, and then we are going to double click here, and this is the image. This is the reference to the image that will get displayed once the data comes back. So this is the image that is displayed, and this placeholder, we have another handy SwiftUI view we can use, is progress view, which is just going to be a spinner. Okay, so regarding this image right here, we definitely want to add a couple of modifiers to it. For example, resizable, so that it can scale up or down, and we want to maintain the aspect ratio. So the one that I like to use is, well, it depends on the circumstances. Why don't we just try fill for now, and we'll see what happens. And let's also give it a little bit of a rounded corner. So we're going to do clip shape. We're going to say rounded rectangle, corner radius is 10. All right, now let's see if this works. So we're going to go back to feed, just double check. Okay, it's going to create instances of video row view and pass in the video. And then this should download the images. We're not showing the titles here, actually. All right, well, that was pretty easy, you have to admit. Just like that, we have this. If you wanted to display the titles, you would, you can either display it, well, the titles don't depend on the image, right? So you could put all of this inside a VStack and then put the title underneath, for example. So we could try to do that here. And this would be the title, right? Video.title. And then we can even make it bold. Is it not title? Oh, sorry, snippet.title. And if it doesn't exist, we'll show empty string. Yeah, so we can left align it. We can add some padding, for example. Leading, and then you could add just some padding overall, or just maybe just to the vertical. Okay, the corners are a little bit too rounded for my liking, so we'll just do 5. All right, and that's how easy it is to do that. All right, our feed view looks pretty good. All we need to do is allow users to tap on the thumbnails to watch the video. Now you do know what I'm gonna ask you, right? If you've been enjoying this build, please give this video a thumbs up. And if you've been following along and you were able to get your thumbnail images to show up, please comment down below, piece of cake. All right, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next lesson.